to see.
Hey,
Yeah. Okay.
live stream now.
Yes. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just going to look and see us on, yes, on Facebook in our Free Your True Voice group. Welcome, 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 DevSuroop.
So great.
It's a pleasure to have you here. It's your second time being interviewed in the group, isn't it? And it was so lovely. I've really enjoyed learning from you and being a co-vocal activator person with you. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. One of my coach a few months ago, um, who's quite mystical, said to me, she identified something for me, which I don't know if this would relate for you with your experience of your own voice and sound. She called me a sound bender.
Oh, that's a nice one. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was digging that. She's got like a kind of a Native American sort of bent, but a sound bender. I
I
say, okay,
love that.
I like it.
I want to be a sound bender too. I
I
am a sound bender.
say you are. I christen you.
I
Take,
receive.
yeah.
Oh my, oh my. So people, I know we've got somebody watching, I'm sure who it is. We yeah, it's just wonderful because both of us work with the voice, and DevSuroop is a Kundalini, especially yoga teacher. You teach Kundalini yogis, teachers about sound and mantra, and you say mantra, right?
Mantra. Yeah. Yeah. Mostly what I focus on in that realm is I'm a trainer. So I'm training teachers or training trainers in that realm of how to teach, how to effectively teach sound and mantra in their classes or in their trainings, of how to get people into, yeah, into sound and mantra, demystify. So that realm
That's
in
one
my,
of the things you do. And also you work one-on-one with people to empower their voice. There tend to be people who are yogis, right, in some way or shape or form, but this is a universal tool, isn't it, that we all have. And I've really enjoyed what you've shared with us in masterclasses, that I've come to yours, and when you've come here you've taught me things. And even on your Instagram, I posted one of your things the other day about keeping, I think it was keeping the vocal cords hydrated or something. Yes. So so I'm really happy to share you with our people, because I believe that you have so much to offer. And anybody who is interested in using their voice, we both come from similar places, but we also have different gifts to offer.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it's sort of like one thing that I've said is like you and I could describe what we do almost exactly the same, but the experience of what we do is very different in how we bring it together. I think one thing that you and I have been talking about a little bit is I commonly use this term authentic voice. And, so really, what does that mean? And, um, you know, going through your lens, I'm sure you'll be calculating how it relates to what you do. I taught a workshop last night. I was a guest in somebody's program, and um, they didn't know me at all. They'd never done anything with me before. And what I've found over time, yeah, I'm a sound and mantra person. Yeah, I'm working with yogis and yoga teachers and yoga teacher trainers, but it's actually very, very universal, what the work that I do for healers or for anybody who wants to discover their voice. But
Mhm.
let's look at it from a mantra perspective. And, man means mind, tra, wave or direction. So you're taking words and you're directing the mind, which can go all over the place, in a certain way, you know. And it could be in your native language, English or whatever, and or it could be in Sanskrit or Gurmukhi or other languages that are native language. But it's ultimately you're going to contain your mind, direct your mind. So we think about mantra, and I don't know, Om Mani Padme Hum. It's a Buddhist mantra for compassion. If we're going to learn a mantra, in my experience of working with people, we go, oh, mantra, it's over there. It's outside of me, right? So what I like to do is get people into an embodied sense of their own self-created sound, of their own vibration, of their felt being of making sound through listening, through breathing, through humming, through very, very simple bij mantra or sounds, toning, so that it's a very, very embodied sense of this being, this body, which is incredibly well designed for transformation through vibration, that you become, like like if you measured the frequency and the vocal imprint of me is different than Allison, is different. Everybody's vocal imprint is different, and the expression of the soul through the voice, it's unique. So if you can get into that first, then let's apply mantra and learn mantra, but do it from an embodied sense. And that's what is one way in this moment that I would describe what I mean by authentic voice.
Okay, so authentic being what's really your unique blueprint as the sound is embodied in your body. Is the sound come through your body?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, I love that. And
Yeah.
so and then you mentioned the soul, because when you were talking, I was also thinking of the way you work with sound, that the people that you work with, or the intention around your sound, because it's related to mantra, it's all devotional, it's always interconnected with the spirit world, with this and the soul. That some people use those two differently and some the same. So when you said the embodied, it's like bringing your soul through. You said the word soul in sound. So yeah, that's where it crosses over for me, in the sense that freeing your true voice is the voice of your soul. It's like, for me, it's in a sense it's the content, but it's like the heart-centered. It's the heart-centered. It's the person, the version of you that is part of the oneness, that's still connected to the oneness, which connects with what you're saying, which is the soul that's embodying through these sound vibrations, because it's also with that devotional use of mantra in the first place. You're starting here, and that's when it's true. So then when it comes out, you're bringing your version of the oneness into that mantra that's ahead. Is that what?
Yeah, right. And so that it becomes not something outside of you, but it becomes you. It's a tool for the expression, not even because for the experience. It's a tool for the experience of your own depth.
Oh, I love that. Let's just slow that one down. It's a tool for the experience of your own depth. Your voice is a tool for the experience of your own depth. Oh, isn't that sexy? Yeah.
So we're both going to go, hey, cool. Down. While you were talking about that, I wanted to share a really cool experience I had a lot of years ago. So in my life journey, I grew up in suburban Seattle in the US, and and I was a teenager in the 70s, so it was a pretty wild time. We were, kind of post 60s, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and we were quite wild. And there's that time, when I was young, that I had this lovely innocence and this really, and I would never fill in the blank. I would never do all these different things. And then as I rolled through my adolescence, my teen years and into my early 20s, all of that behavior that I was engaged in was not innocent. I thought I had lost it, right? And that it was not recoverable.
Your
That,
innocence.
yeah, my innocence, right? That I was blighted or something. This kind of experience that I had. So, fast forward early 20s, I get really deep into Kundalini yoga. And in Kundalini yoga in particular, it might be true of all Eastern traditions, but mantras are very prescriptive. Do this mantra for this effect. Do this mantra for this effect. So there was this mantra that I learned, Sat Narayan Waheguru Hari Narayan Satanam. And it's Narayan is the energy that flows like water. It's, the God Narayan in the Hindu pantheon, but it's this flowing thing. And I found this thing that described that mantra as returning to your innocence.
Mm.
And that just sparked me, here 40 years later, whatever, I'm still telling that story because I realized that the essence of each of us is pure. And then this kind of illusion of being blighted, to use that word again, it's an illusion that I don't know, that we, whether it's an illusion or not, I don't know, let's skip that word, but the essence of us, that authentic being, that true voice, that true self is pure. And that true self is expressed in the unique blueprint, I love that word, of your voice.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I wish I could have written down that sentence you came up with earlier, but hopefully we'll find it. We'll listen back to it, or you,
I wish I would.
depth of your soul or something. We'll find it. But yeah, so that expression, I love that. So coming back to your innocence, and yeah, we can return to our innocence in this vibrational gift offering that is using our voice and realigning with our blueprint. I love it.
Ooh, gosh, I gotta re-listen to this and transcribe this because
I know, right?
bam,
Oh, it's beautiful. I love that. It's really interesting because, I don't do mantra work with my clients, but I recognize that when they give permission to their voice, then this stuff can just allow itself to come through that is beyond their human limitations.
yeah, and I would say you do use mantra in because you use a lot of English.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right. I do. And I encourage my clients to make up their own mantra.
Right. So you're entraining the mind in a certain direction.
Definitely.
And you're using it in English,
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've been experiencing this past year and working with clients I'm curious where it's going to evolve
Mm.
is many of my students, when we start kind of talking, so like if I'm talking like working with yogis and there's I want to incorporate more sound and mantra in my classes, get people comfortable with the expression of their voice. And we talk about how to do that, how to get them comfortable with their voice. Here, try this in your class. Come back to me. How did it work? Practical. And, when I'm working with yogis, yoga teachers, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But what starts coming forward, which I'm sure comes forward in your work, but was kind of delightfully surprising to me, was that the way that they're able to show up in their life with their voice is vastly improved. Like, seems like people deal with infidelity a lot in their marriages, their partnerships.
Love that one.
I
It's so
And
interesting you've experienced that. Yeah.
it's so brutal, it's such a study. But I've had several students that are in that, and they don't know each other, right? But what they'll say is that they've been able to show up in their voice in this very difficult thing. They're in committed relationships and they're dealing with this rub. And here's the student. They're able to show up, say, no, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie for you about the situation you're in, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's really going on with you and so and so? That they've expressed to me that they were able to show up with their voice in a stronger way because they had been doing all this work with their voice.
It's amazing. It is amazing just to be able to, I've experienced similarly, people that there's setting boundaries or asking clearly or bringing clarity to communications on all levels. Yeah. Which also includes their relationship with themselves. They're picking up those messages and they're requiring more clarity with others. Something that just unlocks, because the opposite is true, is that this lockdownness makes people suffer things that they don't need to, or just retreat rather than meet situations. And so, as soon as they start to give permission to their voice, no matter what they're doing, then it starts to set up a better living conditions for them, living relationship conditions, everything improves. It's so lovely. We're so lucky, aren't we? This is such a magical tool.
And it's right here. It's right. It's, we don't need anything else but some way to close the gap between our perception of our voice, our perception of limitation, and the actualization of the use of the voice. So that's what I love is the work that I'm doing is closing that gap.
So can you tell me again the perception of their limitation and what?
And then the actualization of a potential that they suspect is there.
Yes.
Right? So this is, I'm tone deaf. I was told I was too loud. I was told to shut up. I've said horrible things to people in the past and I regret it. All the ways we shut down with our voice, right? Mm-hmm. And there's something, and I'm kind of playing around with this, and I'd be curious if you had some sense of this, is for a lot of people, for myself and a lot of people I work with, they want their voice. They want expression of their voice. They want to be able to sing. They want to be able to, it's kind of a mystery, right? But you're closing this gap. You're kind of shedding off these limited things and going, oh, look at this.
It feels like the throat chakra is a gateway from your heart's desire, to what can your potential. It feels like that. And
Yeah, when you look at the physiology, the Western physiology of the body, and then the yogic physiology of the being, so the fifth chakra here at the throat, and just like look at the all this mobility here at the throat, right?
mhm,
Like when you're chanting, there's a lot of talking about the chin lock, where you Jalandhabandh, where you pull the chin back slightly, comfortably, to allow the energy to flow through the central channel of the body more freely. Of the
mm, mm,
So there's a depiction I have that I really enjoy of the flow of the Kundalini through the chakras. And it'll show like one loop at the navel and one loop at the heart. And then there's this depiction of two figure eights.
really.
At, I might grab it real quick. I might be able to get it, but two figure eights. Let me grab it. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good, good.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Oh, I don't have it right here, damn it.
oh.
Oh
But
well,
it's like two infinities.
another time, but just imagine two infinities here, right? And it's one depiction of how the energy flows through that subtle channel in the center line of the body. And so it's interesting to think about the fifth chakra and what is that, you know, like an imbalanced fifth chakra, for example, you can be really blunt,
Yeah,
right? And we talk about being blocked at the fifth chakra. Well, if say it's got to go through two figure eights, say it needs to do that.
yeah.
Well, that's a lot of, that's something unique, and the physical physiology of it, so it's kind of interesting. Sometimes we say, oh, my fifth chakra is blocked. And I've been playing around with what does that even really mean? But, um,
When I think of the two figure eights when you're speaking, and I think about how we inhale and exhale through our throat as well. Um, and so maybe there's that flow has to be in both directions, where all the other chakras. What about these ones? Are they not two things? Are they one as well?
in this depiction, one loop, one
One.
loop.
Yes, because that inhale, exhale is super important, the receiving and the giving. Um, yeah, fascinating. It feels like a mystical gateway to me. This. I mean, because it's the chakra of manifestation as well, the chakra of manifestation, right? They say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Manifest through vibration, through the voice.
Yeah, and for me, like I talk about, in the beginning was the word, or in the beginning was the and also there's nothing that you can bring into being without communicating it, like whether it's like let's have sex so we can make a baby, or I've just invented the telephone. There's no way that you can even make that a physical invention real without communication. It's a super powerful, it's just essential for anything to come into being.
And I got it. Like, yeah, I'm taking that in. And then it makes me like think about another chakra sort of depiction as we talk about the lower triangle and the upper triangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first, second, and third chakras, which are a lot about being grounded in the earth, being, that, our creativity, our survival, our right use of power, all of these things. And that the apex of that triangle is said to be at the heart center. And that what we're looking to do, and there's this story of, that the distance to travel to enlightenment is from the tip of the little finger to the thumb, which is the distance from the navel center to the heart center,
Right.
which is kind of interesting. But then, so then you have this upper triangle of the fifth, sixth, and seventh chakra, right? And the chakra of manifestation, intuition, enlightenment, right? And so the gateway to these higher centers is you get through this place of compassion up into these, so you're moving through this interesting place to get to that experience of enlightenment or epiphany, or I feel regulated or calm, or this. So kind of vamping off what you're saying.
So but in a way, so bringing that back to the authentic self, that authentic self being the one that is expansive, the true
I
voice.
was integrated. I say the whole being, the whole sense of, because if we're hanging out down here in an imbalanced way, then it's more of our more limited nature. Here's our more unlimited nature, but you really need the balance of the whole thing to be moving and grooving in the world in a body and getting in the car to go to the supermarket. Like that whole being. And so authentic self, authentic voice, being, I want to say grounded in the essence of you, is allow, this whole kind of integrated self moving through the world. So then you're able to show up in a conversation, a difficult conversation, in a more way rather than a reactive space.
Right. So using sound to bring you into your body, into all of your body,
Right.
then you can be more present in whatever situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And, sometimes you, even knowing all the things, you lose it, part of being human.
So do you want to? So you're giving a 3-day event coming up soon, and I would love to encourage people to come and try out your event, because I love learning from you. You've been teaching me. I mean, the one thing that I've got takeaway from you more than anything is to listen whilst I make sound. Which, if I'm teaching someone about singing, obviously they need to listen for their tuning and all of that. But what I loved is, like, with my humming or my mantras or my tone, like I do toning as well, but to actually make the sound and to listen at the same time, you just brought it to another level for me. So I would love to encourage more people to come to your event that's upcoming, and it's a 3-day event, and as long as you want to get connected to your authentic sound, to your voice, to the sacred of your sound, then I recommend people to go along. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect?
Yeah. So I'm calling it 3 keys to free your authentic voice and create a sacred connection with self. And so it'll be a 3-day event, 1 hour each day. It's 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern. So what's that? Maybe
Yeah,
6 in the
in
evening
England.
in London, in England. And then make your translations for time there. So we'll have 3 days together, 1 hour each day. And the first day, we're going to talk about, this gap between our self-perception and that glimmering of hope to access that authentic voice. And so it's kind of like, okay, what is that gap? How do we connect with, how do we dispel some of those myths? So we'll be, I teach a bit, and then we go into practice. And then much about activation of the potential of the voice is about our power source of our navel center, dantian, solar plexus, all of that's down in the navel area. So accessing that and building from what we were talking about the day before. And the third thing is you really as a vibrating machine of transformation is our third day. So my goal in these 3 days is that you deepen that experience and create some confidence and trust with your own self-created sound. It's really fun. It's
I'm
really,
so excited.
what's that?
I'm excited to be able to attend only of the one days. It's on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Is that correct? This week, next week, the
Sixth,
what?
sixth, seventh, and eighth.
In fact, I have the artwork. Inshallah. Oh, wrong button. Is that the wrong button? Yes, there it is. I was going to share the artwork with with the people so they can see it. Sometimes it's nice to have a visual of the event. There it is. Um,
Yay.
3 keys to free your authentic voice, claim your connection to sacred sound. And it's an hour a day, the 6th to the 8th. And these are the times. And so, yeah, I recommend, because I know that you, for example, you have a Facebook group as well, and you do chanting
Yeah.
things. People come in and just chant, and it just brings a lot of well-being to people. So I'm imagining we're going to do some of that in your workshop. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So people can expect to feel more connected to their body, connected to their sacred essence, have tips to, and so I really recommend it. And do you think if people can't make all 3 days, they could still come and get something goodness? I know I'm coming for one. I know I will.
And if you register, uh, you register, and then I'll send out the emails with the replays. So like sometimes people can't attend, they have to work or they have something with a family or something like that. So come 1, 2, or 3 days and you'll get something juicy out of it. Just enjoy yourself. And we do just in these practices, these short practices, come into parasympathetic nervous system regulation.
That sounds beautiful. So, if they did want to come, how could people come? Bearing in mind that we're in Zoom right now, we can share this video in not just the Facebook group where we are live now for your true voice, but I'll share this on my profile. And I could even share it on YouTube. So there's some people will get to see this in time, some might not. So if we were going to tell people how to join the workshop, what would we tell them? What was the information?
Well,
Is
I
there
can
any?
what I'd like to do is I'll put the link when this posts in the group. I'll put the link in the comments.
That's great. Is it a very long link? There's no way you can say it, is there?
Let me say it.
Yeah, go on.
We'll try it. Okay, so it's my name,
Dave,
DevSuroop.com. So DevSuroopKaur.com.
actually, at the top of the Google search, if they write Dave Saroop,
If they do Dave Suroop, they'll get to my website and they'll be able to find the event. So, and then 3 keys to free your voice, REG, which means registration with dashes in between. 3 keys to free your voice, reg, with dashes in between.
Okay, brilliant. And we'll put it in the comments for wherever I post this video, other than here in the Free Your True Voice group. But then what if somebody watched this video way after your event? Could they join your Facebook group and connect to you that way?
Yeah. So the Facebook group I have is called the Empowered Sound Collective. And I center my offerings and my juicy stuff. This is where I offer, I'm pulling it up right now so I can get that. So it's this is where I do live chanting. I'm doing it like once every 2 weeks right now, and I alternate times. So I'll do it at a time that works for Europe in the evenings. It'd be Europe in the evenings, and then I'll do it in the evening so it works for Asia in the mornings. I kind of shift it, kind of try to be global about it. So that facebook.com/groups/empowered sound. So that's where the juicy stuff, I centered the juicy stuff of what I do right now is at that Facebook group. And all the announcements of the things I do are there. But
Yeah,
live chat is really fun.
there's also tips and all sorts of tips about how to maximize the value of your voice and your chanting and all sorts as well, isn't there? So yeah, I'd love to encourage people to visit your group. And so we've got your website, DevSuroop.com, and we've got your Facebook group and this event coming up, which we could find if we if they went to your website, people could register through that as well, and there'll be a link in the comments, right? Now,
Yeah.
before we go,
What I also want to offer that I'll put in the comments, which I think will be great, is that image of the flow of the energy through the chakras, because I have it in PDF, that
okay,
I was talking about just for interest so that people can see that image.
okay, great idea. So would you like to give us something tonal before we say goodbye?
Oh, so much of what I love to do is just, yeah. Yeah, I think what I want to do is mother energy. All right.
Mhm.
The common mantra for mother energy is Ma.
Ma.
So we'll start with a hum and then go into ah.
Okay.
So let's just do it a few times and know that this brings us from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic nervous system state where we come into rest and recovery just by simple sounding like this. So just find your comfortable seat and we'll do a few rounds of ma. We'll hang out on the for a little bit and then we'll go into the ah. So settle in, connect with your breath. Feel your body, feel your sense of self. Maybe you have your feet crossed or your fingers interlaced. Just kind of let that go, or you might feel any holding or clenching. Allow the lungs to fill. And at the inhale, as the ribs expand and the thoracic diaphragm presses down, the belly expands, pelvic floor presses down. And the exhale, belly softens, lungs deflate. And feel that bellows of the being. And inhale and begin with a hum. Two more. And inhale. This is suspend the breath, lengthen the spine. Feel and sense yourself as you suspend the breath. And exhale, relax. Just spend a moment tuning into the vibration of yourself, literally feeling whatever the pulsations of your body might be, your prana, your life force. Very practically feel yourself, sense yourself. As you soften your breath and inhale and relax. Open your eyes.
Well, you got me there. You intuitively must have picked up on what I needed. I've just been, it's made me cry. I'm doing some healing around the mother wound, and you chose Mark. And so it's just put me in touch with the heartache I'm feeling right now, which is really interesting. But thank you for, just putting me in touch with my vulnerability. And thank you for your intuition and the rightness. Maybe that's, as I'm doing healing around my mother wound, that's bringing the mother energy to comfort me in my sadness. So thank you. That's a fantastic ending.
Yeah, beautiful. I wasn't even tuning into that. So I love how the universe works. I just kind of went, mother, let's do that. It's cool.
Yeah, it's just spot on. Thank you.
So grateful.
So really a pleasure to have you, DevSuroop, in this. Welcome whoever's come into the group. Thank you for joining tonight, and thank you for your energy. And I really do invite people to come to your special masterclass 3-day event, and the link will be in the comments below. Thank you, my sister, my sound. What was it? What was the word? Sound vendor, sister.
Yeah, love it.
DevSuroop, thank you.
Thank you, love.